Hello, good afternoon, and it's time for Newsbeat right here on Metro Television. I am Isiodua Akumia. Now let's check out the headlines. President Akufo-Addo vows to revive Ghana's ailing economy before the end of his tenure in January 2025 as he joined the family of late father of Executive Chairman of Just One Group of Companies, Joseph Siao Ejapong. In business, Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia touts government's digitalization agenda, claiming that the introduction of the Ghana card is saving Ghana a lot of money. In showbiz, family of late Francis Yao Ofori, widely known as Baba Spirit, in showbiz circles raises red flags over the circulation of videos of the mortal remains of Baba Spirit on social media by some of his. In news elsewhere, Queen Elizabeth II's coffin has left her beloved Scottish estate Balmoral Castle as the late monarch begins her last journey back to London for a state funeral. Welcome to Newsbeat. President Akufo-Addo has vowed to put the economy back on track before the end of his tenure in January 2025. Speaking at a Thanksgiving ceremony of the father of Just One's Executive Chairman, Joseph Siao Ejapong, the president said measures are in place to revive the economy. He also said his government is committed to support private businesses to boost the economy.
Many down so when you bet me a juma a pejo me. Omano, a buying beboa, the teacher, entrepreneurs, business people, creative people, one na Ghana, Dachino, Eshawansa. Now, cry me for you, be our war, memo, would be papa yemo, memo. Opemwe free aban no ha saban Akufo-Addo aban eba ebeboa no motumi aye enunti kofo bisa mi say ya den na wona yewura Japan zoom line abaya da enya da fo adwuma ne yeye na hu se bibi wo ni mu a opese oboa o man aye sa no so no me se se me so me de ma ho den eboa no metumi ebibia koyi enyo no kwa bia wo memu ha ankrakwa adwuma fo a woni wo bibia woni fisa aban no betumi aboa ma yi maban ebeboa wo etoso mienu minim se nyama ye den amagana fo esikasem enye Nanson sono mi wa resisemu kese se de atin ye betumi siesie ama yeyi me ba no na ye ga yisika samenye na nye nanso ye de adwuma kese ye ama etumi tre no saa na we so abai ye disa ahoden adwuma ye na ni teacher ye nim se kon eye Onyankopon konti ye beba ye ba be famu e ma papa no ababiom e wo Ghana nantina meka se osofo asema wa ba ka che ne no em se na wo kasa ma me de sa na me fana sala me fano ti me de wase pa na ye nyina ye se ba ko ye wo ye mu no ye masa ba ko ye ni munya den ni antiase se sikasama ba aye basa ye nko Ghana na aye ni sa uche de yakoso wi asafa na nyina nanso so ye de enim se ye boaboa ye ho ni ye mia ye ni a betumi afam ama adentia because kono aye kono enye unipa ko Onyankopon ene
Well, that was President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo clearing the air about his relationship with the executive chairman of Jospin Group of Companies, stating that they are not friends but just business partners. And he also mentioned that anybody at all who has potential and who has the resources or the heart to want to better the country, they would partner with the individual, and that is exactly what is happening between he and Jospin. And then he also mentioned that he has hope that the state of the economy is going to get better by the end of his tenure. Okay, so still on the funeral of the late father of chairman of Jospin Group of Companies, he has expressed appreciation to all who supported him by his late father when he laid his late father to rest.
Your man Penny, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. I don't know pay ye jina du nyankopon ye nyina beka se Awurade mo na Awurade ase. Yesu ya dawase o. Ono na wahu Japan abusue mobo na wadom yen adom keke. Na nka ye ni din yen se yen fata. Ohwe ba bi a yase fi a ye kromo kura ni Ghana map so. Entinka we are not being recognized and having a privilege like this. Enyame na ebu ye bi. Enti Awurade abusuafo mu nyina nka se Yesu ya dawase o. Ye man pani ye fasa kwa nsu ye di nkan ya dawase. Eye ba ye ba wona ase e be si wa ye. Enura ye o ma ho kafo bigira wana mu. A 1 week, my chief of staff by and a pain so waba. Yakoto Adawasi. Yajinabusia penny, Dumun, Adawasi. A radio who mobile dum, young papa Samuel Kwame Japan, 98 years. Young Pai Bonnie say, a radio bedroom of 128 years. Now, I don't for Yanka, your mom penny, or your papa. Sa wo man no na obeke kansem be sa woni mu na ne kuma mu ye oyi ni patrene a ensachi sanyam nim nanim bra na menim no na menim se ne ote be wo ben no oyi ni papa ye ka ni papa e wo Ghana ha odo no dikai.
So we are moving over to the family house of the late Opengin Samuel Kwame Ejapong to see what is happening there currently after the Thanksgiving service. So we are currently at the house of the late Opengin Samuel Kwame Ejapong. This is what is going on there in the family house currently. Yes. Okay, so away from that, Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia has touted government's digitalization agenda by claiming that the introduction of the Ghana card is saving Ghana a lot of money. He was speaking at the Grand Durbar of the Bobo Infancy Festival at Mankasim in the Central Region. Central Region correspondent Akwesiado has more in the following report.
The Bobo Infancy Festival is celebrated by indigents of Mankasim, believed to be the first place of settlement by Fantas after their pilgrimage from Techiman. Speaking at the Grand Durbar to climax this year's festival, Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia jabbed the Mahama-led NDC government, saying the latter failed to implement any meaningful policy. Dr. Bawumia, who touted the digitalization agenda of the NPP government, mentioned that the issuance of the Ghana card is saving the country a lot of revenue. He said over 14,000 ghost names have so far been cleared from the National Service Scheme's roll, saving the country 112 billion Ghana cedis every year. He said The removal of ghost pensioners from Senate roll was by the help of the Ghana card and has saved the country 347 billion Ghana cedis. He also said bank transactions have also been made easier as a result of the Ghana card. Here is the Vice President speaking.
The government of Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP is a government of ideas. We are doing things that have not been done before in our history. We are doing things for the first time and changing this country one idea after another. For the first time in our history, the government of Nana Akufo-Addo has brought the Ghana card to all Ghanaians. Provides unique identity to everyone. Because of the Ghana card, we were able to find 14,000 ghost workers at the National Service and save government 112 million Ghana cedis a year. Because of the Ghana card, Smith found ghost pensioners and saved between 2018 and 2022, 347 million Ghana cedis. And because of the Ghana card, we have recently found 533 ghost workers on the controller and accountant general payroll. So we are able to save a lot of money because of the Ghana card.
On his part, the Omahene of Mankesim, Nana Amanfo-Addo VI, wants to have the Infancy municipality divided to make Mankesim a district. He believes that will help propel development.
If we confuse CRA, we will district capital, more for do what, or development. Papa. Inti infasu of papa de Mankasimiso, Yebenya, near district. Ye 4 more Kumukakrampo there. 4 traditional areas. Now wash Manas. 4 traditional councils. Now wash Manas. Eko baby only 1 traditional council and only 1 district. Into the other there 4. What was 2 Boko 1 district. Not 2 so after 1 district. No one person there's a make there make on.
Now, residents of Bimbilla, the municipal capital of the Nanumba North of Municipality of the Northern Region, have called on individuals and organizations to help in the construction of a fenced wall around their cemetery to stop encroachers and spiritualists from using the cemetery land, which they say is the only cemetery within the municipality, and it is therefore important to preserve it.
Indiscriminate sale of public land is becoming very common in the northern region. Many public schools, hospitals, and other state institutions in the recent past have complained of their lands being encroached by private individuals. At Bimbilla in the Nanumba North Municipality of the Northern Region, residents are worried over the consistent encroachment of their cemetery lands. They are therefore calling on government, benevolent organizations, and individuals to come to their aid to ensure a fence wall is constructed around the cemetery. Hudu Zakaria is the leader of the cemetery guards. Some residents of Bimbilla also spoke to Metro News.
The wall is not in the cemetery, so we are facing problems on it. So if people did not come and help us for the wall, it will not be better for us. So people are building houses inside the cemetery land, and then some things are happening for these days. They are digging the grave, and then people will remove things fast from the cemetery.
On the back of this development, the former Northern Regional Minister Salifu Said has supported the call with some trips of sea sand, bags of cement, headpans, wheelbarrows, and 10,000 Ghana cedis to help in the construction of the fence wall.
It is not going to be the chief imam or the committee members alone. Everybody should come out in their numbers. They should come out and do whatever support that they want to do in the areas of water, food, what have you. to support those who come and do it.
Now, still on stories on lands, Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, George Merkuduka, has debunked claims the government is losing the fight against illegal mining. This follows the influx of foreigners in the illegal mining space. He made these comments at the launch of the Responsible Small-Scale Mining Awards here in Accra.
Launching the 2022 edition of the Responsible Small-Scale Mining Awards, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, disclosed that the initiative is an effort of government and the ministry to sanitize the mining industry and make it more attractive, while urging all stakeholders to work closely together and help promote the mining industry in Ghana.
Whilst we are clamping down on illegal small-scale mining, we make the point and make it very clear that we are also interested in promoting and encouraging responsible, environmentally sound, and legal small-scale mining. Because as you do know, the small-scale mining sector provides almost 1 million jobs across the country. So as I've said this many times, and the president himself has had multiple occasions to reiterate that the government is not against small-scale mining. What the government is against is illegal small-scale mining. On the contrary, we want to promote small-scale mining. We want to encourage small-scale mining. And we want small-scale mining to be responsible and contribute to the national economy and the welfare of the population, just as it does in South Africa, in Canada, in Australia, in America, and several other destinations across the world.
Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, on the sidelines of the event, debunked claims that government has lost the fight against galamsey.
I can confidently tell you that the turbidity level of PRA is getting better than previously. We sometimes create a storm in a teacup. Obviously, I'm not saying it's the best. That is not what I want to see as a Ghanaian. We want something better. But for the effort of this government, the situation would have been dire. And I must be blunt on this. I mean, and we can't continue creating an atmosphere as if we're not doing anything, and for that matter, we must throw our hands in despair. We wouldn't do that. As the minister indicated, we will not relent in our efforts in clamping down this recalcitrant. But I'm telling you, we've been doing our best to, in a way, control the system, and we are in charge.
The National Small-Scale Mining Awards is a brainchild of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, which seeks to celebrate those who adhere to the health, safety, and environmental standards guiding their mining operations.
Newman'S Ghana pays relief to more than 8,000 speculative builders on the Ahafo South Mine concession in the Ahafo region. This is in agreement with the government of Ghana to avert further disturbances on the concession.
A total of 450 million Ghana cedis is currently being disbursed to beneficiaries who built varied structures on a concession after it was declared mining concession in 2017. Payment began on August 2, 2022. This was revealed when the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines paid a courtesy call on the Ahafo Regional Minister, George Boache, who expressed excitement that the impasse has been resolved.
You know, when the whole thing started, the challenges that they were facing, it had to do with legal and illegal structures. And people mix the two, trying to get the attention of the media. So we have to come out and then explain the situation to them. That when the mining area was declared in 2017, everything that happened after that was illegal. Yeah.
The Communications and External Relations Manager of Newmont, Samuel Osei, added that all structures undergoing negotiations will be settled in order for the project to commence.
Newmont committed an amount of 45 million Ghana cedis to pay for these, to pay these people as relief payment. Now I need to make, a point that this is not compensation and this is not negotiated payment. This is just a relief payment that was recommended to us by the government, and we accepted in the interest of peaceful coexistence to give to the people so that we can start off. Now you would ask that what then is happening to the legal structures that must be paid for? These legal structures are going through negotiations at the Resettlement Negotiation Committee. These are people who are part of the speculative structure or unauthorized structure owners who feel that they deserve as much as the legal owners.
The coordinator and secretary of the interagency committee, including the community leader, had this to say.
So far, in terms of cash, we've paid a little over 23,000 million Ghana cedis. We have paid over 1,400 individuals. We have validated about 7,300 plus. Those are the people who came. We announced that people should come with the codes. They came, we have validated them, and so those people can be paid.
Very, very happy. As a community leader, I'm very happy. It's going on well, and I think that the regional minister and the municipal chief executive must be commended seriously in this. They have done very, very well. Always with us. They have.
Newman'S has concluded discussions with government and traditional authorities for the payment of over 8,000 speculative unauthorized structures in the $850 million Ahafo North mining project.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with some more stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsbeat. Angry chiefs of Kweyman, Damfa and Amrahia have threatened to begin a series of demonstrations against the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, accusing the Ministry of land grabbing. The chiefs have also vowed to sue the ministry. There is more in this report.
It's been over 2 years since the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia, released a white paper releasing 40% of the dairy farmlands acquired by government without compensation back to its owners from Kweyman, Damfa and Amarhia. However, the joy that greeted the action by the government is being short-lived, accusing government of land grabbing. They allege that the Deputy Minister in charge of lands, Benito Usubio, has allocated over 130 acres of the land to himself.
Okay, can't the tune? She if I share quite when I come about she born no one kept the play again and by you a spawn. Come back, she born. Tomo Beko Niake, police commander, air say, Kelake, police were near to and become a spawn. Kel Lance be a number by two number small 1 year to 1 year can't. She be Bessie. They care me try to let get try to let nature lands be a no quality ejipo. Kajano say I'm a police for Paba. Meneko Usubio. Kioshi. Kakemo creme jato. Kaka amba bua was spawn like a police. A gafia maga yeji woy. She had a government there or fair watching. No cano go bar or fiording. She na share. Watch a tekre. What he entertained him watch a tekre? What gamin tekre watcher? You watch a tekre, Gamenuji tekre, Melody tekre. You walk come back with a shipono. Come a bill of fame, Lambanya make cospon. She come and yam a bill, Bambala Yespono. You won't care Benito Ake. Henege. Come and take Kumasia. Say you be need you 2 4 times go come on Kenya. Come and take Kumase. Now my no more 2 4 years come and ne wa me say. She come back she be and if you market koloji wo. Be a boni president say ma. Je koloji wo e. Be meji wo. Wo ya wala to me dey yo e wale. She ake bule ye wo e. Ka bule be e na je bule be. No e ko fi on kan.
They are also calling for the head of the Deputy Minister, Benito Osubio.
Away from that, a 74-year-old man has been burned to death after fire gutted his 5-bedroom house at Brasso in the Ashanti region. The deceased, who has been identified as Stephen Dapar, is said to be a former Ashanti Regional Director of Audit Service. Eyewitnesses tell Metro News 3 other occupants of the house who have been injured and 1 other who lost consciousness are receiving treatment at the Confanoche Teaching Hospital following the incident.
It was 1:30 a.m. that I had a call that there is a house on fire. So I had to quickly call the fire service and give them the direction to the place. I also rushed to this place as well. And when we came, the house was on a blaze. So they also did their best in order to also keep things down. But unfortunately, I think the man was identified to be dead, and he was actually even bent towards ashes. That is the most painful part of it. I just want to use this opportunity to appeal to the authorities and those concerned that they should really come to our aid, particularly this area. It has been identified and observed that most houses here are being burnt. We can count about 7 houses that has been set ablaze, of which we are not privy to any information about as to the cause of it. Even this one, we cannot even tell what actually caused it. Do get it? So we're just appealing to the authorities involved, okay, that they should actually come to our aid. Then we investigate into issue, not to also cause such a catastrophic issue in our area. Even some of us that we are just eyewitness, if we should put ourselves into their shoes, it is not bearable at all. It's not that easy. Even most of them cannot even speak because this is dumbfounding. Well, let me say, you have relations living abroad, UK, they come just for a visit, and all of a sudden, everything belonging, passport, whatever, just seconds, all set ablaze. It's very painful, and we are just doing our best just to also console them, to give them the necessary hope.
Away from that, the National Democratic Congress youth organizer, hopeful, in the Wejagbawe constituency has led residents on a health walk and free health screening exercise as part of efforts to promote unity and whip up grassroots support for the party within the constituency.
The health walk organized by the New Wager Ward East and West was aimed at keeping members of the party active and united ahead of the party's constituency regional congress. The walk took participants through some principal streets of the constituency. Participants also benefited from a free health screening exercise for malaria, blood pressure, optical and breast-related ailments. Constituency Youth Organizer Hopeful Vida Akofa Asari stressed that the walk aimed to create awareness of the party's readiness to capture power from the New Patriotic Party in the 2024 elections. Whilst thanking residents for gracing the event, she also called on constituency and branch executives to be more vigilant in the upcoming parliamentary and presidential elections.
I will thank everybody for coming for the program. It was a successful program. Thanks all the constituency executives for coming on board. Our chairman is on board and all the mobilizers. Thank you all for coming. Right now we are at the second surface of the program, which is the health screening, eye screening, breast screening and all that.
Some participants also spoke to Metro News.
What we have to do as a party is to bring the party together, unite our ranks for victory 2024. NDC has so much to offer Ghanaians. If we look at the People's Manifesto, it's a youthful manifesto and it's a smart manifesto. What I mean smart is that it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic and it's time-bound.
The people's voice must be heard all over the corners of our constituency because development is retired totally. So we are doing this health work to create the awareness for the constituency and sound a strong warning to our MP that we are in need of so many things in this community and we are calling for his help. But if he knows that she can't undertake that, then he should just step down because he doubles as MP and also a health deputy minister.
The Minister of Ahafo North Region, George Yalbuache, has called on corporate bodies and individuals to support road development and skill training to foster growth and rapid development in the communities in which they reside.
The Ghana Chamber of Mines paying a courtesy call on the Minister of Ahafo North Region, Samuel Boakye, lauded Newman'S Ghana Gold Limited for taking the lead in the development of communities within Ahafo North and South mines in the Ahafo region. The mining company is funding the construction of the 8.2-kilometer Kenya-Sishidium Road at the cost of 71 million Ghana cedis. The full construction of the road would enhance the socio-economic life of the people of the area, as well as improve the operational efficiency of the company. Speaking further on the development, Minister of Ahafo North Region, Samuel Boakye, commended the company for incorporating the road project into their corporate social responsibility.
When I visited Kenya the first time I took over, I told them Kenya deserve better. So if you go there now, they are asphalting the Kenya state. It's as a result of the intervention of the Regional Coordinating Council. And then I also told them that we have a lot of youth who are walking around doing nothing. And if they want their peace, they should help us assist them to get employable skills. So they advanced to us 1 million Ghana cedis to do this youth apprenticeship program throughout the region. So we have selected 1,200 of our youth. We are expecting the items next week Tuesday to roll out the program.
Suleiman Ukoni, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, lauded the initiative from the company and urged the support of the ministry.
We thought that we should have this conversation with you to see how best we can work together. Already we know that there are a few mines coming up north beyond the Ahafo, and in terms of proximity to the other mining centers in the country, Ahafo is even much closer. So you can see the opportunities we actually beckons for the people of Ahafo. So we need to rise up and be quite proactive in engaging with the mine and other institutions within the enclave. So
the Shidia Kenyasi Road is being asphalted into completion.
The Commissioner of Shraj, Joseph Whittle, is recommending that all future public office holders be made to undergo a conflict of interest screening in order to protect them from being corrupted by unscrupulous individuals.
At the swearing-in of new audit members for the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, by the Internal Audit Agency, Commissioner for Shraj, Joseph Whittle, called on auditors to allow internal audit structures to work.
It is a wake-up call that we should also make sure that everything that we do meets the requirements of the law. I am convinced that if the findings of the Auditor General's report against particular institutions, the leadership had listened to the advice and recommendations of their internal audit team and the audit committees, I don't think these findings will have. So it's a signal that we should allow internal structures to work. It's very important. If we don't do that, the outcome would be the irregularities that we are seeing.
The auditors were made to sign on to a conflict of interest form, which is expected to guide their operations. Joseph Whittle believes if this innovation is introduced across other public bodies, it will curb corrupt activities.
Asset declaration forms are what are sent to the Auditor General, which is by law. But by law, there's no requirement in the Constitution for conflict of interest. But we know it is a major, major issue in governance. And this is an innovation which I think would actually nip in the bud all possible conflicting situations that public officers who are called upon to do sensitive work involving major decisions, financial, accounting, and others, and even human resource, if they are able to undergo a conflict of interest screening, it will help.
Dr. Eric Odro Osai is the Director General of the Internal Audit Agency.
If people were to know the mandate given to audit committees under the PFM Act, they will leave the Auditor General alone and hold the audit committees in this country responsible. Because they are the ones who are supposed to, in the law, ensure implementation of Auditor General's recommendations. So if it is not being done, then we hold you responsible. Infractions are reducing, but their quantitative values are not reducing. It means we have a lot of work to do. Let us adopt the preventive approach. And we can only adopt the preventive approach by you supporting management and guiding them to fully comply with the Public Financial Management Act.
The 6-member committee, which is now chaired by Nathan Ekoyanki, will serve for 2 years.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner of SHRAJ, Joseph Whittle, has backed calls by the Citizen Coalition asking the Auditor General to surcharge persons and institutions implicated in the Auditor General's report.
So for the Auditor General, I think it's about governance. Once the Supreme Court decision on disallowance and surcharge given to him to perform, he should do it. It's not enough to enable citizens through civil society and others to go to the street for you to perform your duty. I would call upon my brother, who is actually doing well within, if you look at the audit report, he's done a lot. The areas that we want is not about reporting, it's about actual recoveries. So Ghanaians want surcharges and should listen to the voice of Ghanaians. That's all.
We take another break. We'll be back with business, sports, and entertainment. Do stay tuned. The Bank of Ghana is cautioning customers of banks who issue dark checks to desist from that since it adversely affects their credit reports and chance of securing a credit facility with any financial institution.
The warning was captured as part of the Central Bank's financial literacy program dubbed Improving Your Credit Worthiness. It is also part of effort to help customers improve their worthiness to receive new credit from any financial institution. The Central Bank also urged customers to pay their loan on time to maintain a good credit history. It noted that this is because one's credit history showed how they managed the repayment of their past loans, including the timeliness of the payment, adding that a weak credit history might affect one's chances of getting new loans from any financial institution. The Central Bank also stated that bank customers are entitled to a free credit report once a year. It also noted that retailers, telcos, fintech service providers, student loan trust, utility companies, and other credit providers, amongst others, may share information on one's indebtedness to them to credit bureaus licensed by the Bank of Ghana. These institutions will also obtain credit information about borrowers when deciding to offer them credit. This will, however, be done with their consent. The Central Bank, however, urged borrowers to submit a complaint to the credit bureau or their financial institution if they dispute the content of their credit report.
There's been an influx of online food businesses lately, but have you ever stopped to think about how these dishes are prepared? A medical practitioner at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Kwabena Appiah-Gyekye, has called for proper scrutiny of food joints across the country. According to him, thorough checks by the district's environmental hygiene officers will go a long way to prevent ill health.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, most online food businesses boomed as most people could not go out to get food. Although this has been described by many as innovative, Deputy Chief Medical Officer at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Kwabena Appiah-Gyekye, is worried about the way these foods are handled, especially by dispatch riders, before getting to the consumer.
You just don't see an advert on Instagram and then you order the food. You must be sure where the food is coming. Some of us don't know even where the food is coming from. We just saw an advert on Instagram and then you order. So that if the place is a real certified place, then you can say you are ordering the food. 2, what container would they bring it in? If the container is not well sealed, then there's a problem. The famous Okada drivers, they are also food handlers. They should also go through the same rigid food checks, food permits, yearly medical checks on them to see whether they can handle food.
He called on district environmental hygiene officers and authorities to monitor and inspect some of these food joints to ensure a healthy lifestyle for all.
I believe that the restaurants are being checked by the district assemblies, the food environmental units. So they check the chobas, they check the restaurants. But some smart business person, a smart starter who does his food at home, those ones are not checked. And they are all food handlers. They don't have any certification that checks on them. So that's an area we need to look at. How is the food prepared? Is it in a very hygienic way? Have the handlers been tested for various things like typhoid and things? Is their food processed and is it done in a hygienic way? So those things are areas that we should go to. The same strict proofs, the same strict regimes that restaurants and chop bars people are put through. Somebody who does an online business must also have his kitchen, must also have his processes checked.
He adds Ghanaians must continue to adhere to the safety protocols, particularly washing of hands.
That's it for business news. It's time for sports. Samuel Ashikwe scored the first goal of the 2022-23 Ghana Premier League season as Great Olympics had a winning start to the new campaign, beating Bichem United by 1-0 at the Accra Sports Stadium. Yao Perkun is the head coach of Great Olympics.
Throwing. Decent cross comes in. Bichem United fancy their chance. Francis Akwa gets a decent cross in. Clinton brings the ball down. Oh, the shot is fired, but it hits the side netting. And that was a thunderbolt from Latif Dadzi with the ball. Sets up a pass to Accra Great Olympics, keeping the ball to themselves, and that's good enough. A strong run there from Akese. Sets up the pass, and that is the opening goal of the season.
Look at him as he gets involved with the build-up, carries the ball all by himself, drives at the heart of that defense of Bichem, sends a cut back. And yeah, I think Samuel Kwe is good. There's no offside.
The performance, I think we can do better. We played against a very good side. We know they can keep the ball, they can hold the ball. So we were thinking to hit them on counter. First half, the midfield didn't click the way I was expecting. It was Kasim, Amos and Najiman. This is their first.
Now, under the Ghana Premier League, here are matches yet to be played. Karela versus Tamale City, Aduana Stars versus Hearts of Oak, Bibiani Gold Stars versus Dreams, Tamale versus Samatex, Legon Cities versus Mediama, Kotoku Royals versus Accra Lions, and for tomorrow, Brecum Chelsea versus Kin Faisal. Well, that's it for sports. Up next, entertainment news. Now, a family of late Francis Yao Ofori, widely known as Baba Spirits in showbiz circles, is concerned about the circulation of videos of the remains of the deceased on social media by some of his colleagues. The family is demanding for such videos to be taken down, or the culprits would have them to contend with. There's more in this report.
According to the family, Baba Spirit, as he was widely known in the showbiz industry, died after falling ill for a while. At a meeting to plan for the funeral arrangements, the family expressed great concerns over some videos of the mortal remains of the deceased, which has since gone viral after his death on Thursday evening. A video believed to be taken by some colleagues of the deceased has gone viral on social media. The family says it finds the act appalling and disrespectful to their beloved relative and wants it to be taken down by persons who had it uploaded, lest they have them to deal with according to the law. Here are some members of the family speaking to Metro News.
Yaw waya this year. Nidin de yaw fori. Or this year preocupe. Udia kunya Udia kunya wadenche mboso. Atwoma this year. Enti eni kwan se ebanesa. What? Kwan ye fa so ba ye ni anya ho. Ebusia ni anya ho kra. Enu nti ye behia na ne esene fata no so. Ye be ye ho adwuma.
Ade be china se video no enfi online ya. Emra e wo Ghana no ebusuafo no betu na mama emra no ne sai nipa ko no adi. Because enim se emra e wo man Ghana mu a eye adwuma yi pa. Ye ni onipa na kasa abre a ye koduru ho no mo na mebra no ato no. O start so video no ye bo na mane emi na meni nipa me bo na mane se unua ade a wo ye no video na obetwa me sero de watwa kodu na eye ntwa biem na emum de watwa no hwe no afa matwa bontin ye bo na mane even asem si yikurampo no ma pen number afle say nipa na mfa ko no eni aso ana wa ye nti won kan hu sese nka ye ono na bibisi eto na anka ye ntumi nya ne sa ti yesele no eni die mu ala ye de hye no ye mpese na dija beda bontin ye mpese na dija beda bontin.
There is a seeming rift between members of the family and some showbiz personalities believed to be closer colleagues of the deceased over the funeral arrangements. The family is calling on all concerned parties to remain calm as it will have all agreed arrangements communicated in due course.
Ebusiani ye hwehwemu. Sene nsanchirofo mo ye mo hwehwemu da bia na mo nya informations no. Yes ye guso aye ye hwehwemu. Ne ehunu ya ode samfoni no eto so. Na tumi be no wo a ese ode samfoni no so eto so. Na ode hye de ente so.
Well, I hope that the perpetrators respect the family in this difficult time and take down the videos. Well, that's it for entertainment news. Up next is international news. A hearse carrying the late Queen Elizabeth II's oak coffin has left her beloved Balmoral Castle. The coffin of the late monarch is beginning a 6-hour road journey to Edinburgh on Sunday. She died Thursday at Balmoral after a 70-year reign and is starting her last journey back to London for a state funeral September 19. Crowds are lining parts of the route as the nation mourns its longest reigning monarch. Early Sunday, flowers and other tributes, a small Paddington bear toy, a hand-drawn picture of the Queen were piled up outside the gates of Balmoral. Also Sunday, King Charles III will be formally proclaimed king in the other nations of the United Kingdom, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, after a similar ceremony in Britain a day earlier. Well, that's it on Newsbeat today. I am Isiedwa Akumia, but before we go, here are the headlines. President Akufo-Addo vowed to revive Ghana's ailing economy before the end of his tenure in January 2025 as he joined the family of the late father of Executive Chairman of Just One Group of Companies, Joseph Siao Ejapong. In business, Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia touted government digitalization agenda, claiming that the introduction of the Ghana card is saving Ghana a lot of money. In showbiz, family of late Francis Yao Ofori, widely known as Baba Spirit, in showbiz circles, raised red flags over the circulation of videos of the mortal remains of Baba Spirit on social media by some of his colleagues. In news elsewhere, Queen Elizabeth II's coffin has left her beloved Scottish estate Balmoral Castle as the late monarch begins her last journey back to London for a state funeral. Well, thank you for being with me right here on Newsbeat on Metro Television. Do stay tuned because we bring you an extensive coverage of the aftermath of the Thanksgiving service of the late Openyin Samuel Kwame Ejapong.